RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And welcome to RTF Sports Talk. I am the host of this fine establishment, Michael Buckheister. I'm joined with, as always, with Billy Hatton and Matthew Lyle. Matthew, how you doing today, son?
I'm doing pretty good.
Fresh off that
Out
big
of town,
win.
a little family vacation. Yeah, I'll take it. Kentucky beat Florida since the first time since 1986. First time at the Swamp since 1979. I will take it.
And Billy Hatton, how you doing today?
Whew, yeah, I'm all right. I'm doing all right.
Fresh off of a
Thank God.
10-point win as well. Nice Florida State win.
Willie Taggart is going to give me a heart attack, man. He's going to give me a heart attack, honestly. I don't know what's going on down there in Tallahassee.
Well, we can move past college today because let's not talk about Kansas State and Mississippi State. It's all good, though. So we'll just go ahead and jump into it. Finally, the heart of the NFL season is here. Week 1 is in full swing here in about, 3 hours, 4 hours? And we're just going to get into it. There's going to be really, we're just going to pick games today and see what you guys think. But I'm going to start with the most intriguing game of the day that I feel. It's going to be Browns versus Steelers. Since, Billy, this is your team, this is your big pick of the year, who do you got and why? Let us know.
Now, probably before we found out that Le'Veon Bell was not going to show up, a lot of the stuff I was saying about this Pittsburgh-Cleveland matchup was all smoke screen. I was really going to go with the Steelers. But now that Le'Veon Bell is not there, and it's not just that he's not there, I feel like the team is in shambles right now. I think they really don't know how to feel. Everybody is arguing with each other. I think this is prime opportunity at home for the Browns to actually win this game now. So I'm going to pick the Browns to win this game today at home. And Pittsburgh is only getting 3.5 points. I take that any day of the week. No Le'Veon, like I said. They still have Antonio Brown. They still have Big Ben. They still have the crew there. But, James Conner. But I just think what's going on right now is going to be a big distraction for that team. And I think that Cleveland, this is their time to pull it out. Looks like Josh Gordon is going to play today, so that should help the offense out a lot. Hopefully Tyrod is ready with that wrist. But I'm giving the Browns a go today.
All right, we got that pick marked down.
What was that?
Go ahead, Matthew. Sorry.
I think the Browns are going to come out. I think they are going to come out hot. I think today's going to be a nice offensive game. I think the passing is going to be there. But I think at the end of the day, there's steps to this. There's levels to this. I know that being a Kentucky football fan as well, just because you got the talent doesn't right off lead to win. First, you got to get the talent in place, and then you have to get it to jail, and then you have to teach it to win. And I think when you got pro athletes, it doesn't take as long as it does in college, where it could be a 4-year cycle. But you got the talent in place for Cleveland. The passion is going to be there. I think Cleveland does have a chance to win. I think it is a close game. I even think Cleveland jumps out to a big lead, but the Steelers have done this before. The Antonio Brown, Juju, Big Ben, James Conner in the backfield, which we've talked in limited numbers, these backups can do okay without Bell, at least on paper. I think what happens, the Browns jump out to an early lead, and then late in the game, here comes the Steelers, take a late 3 or 4 point lead with 2 minutes left, and it comes down to the Browns to try to capitalize and win, and they're just not there yet. So I got the Browns having all the energy. I have the Browns getting out to an early lead, but I have the Steelers coming away with a win.
And I'm going to have to echo pretty much what Matthew says on that. Like, as much as I want to pick the Browns, the minus the Bell, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to have to go with the Steelers as well, and just I don't think missing Bell is as important as it is in week 1 through 4 as it will be in week 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I'm going to have to go with
right when that
yeah
wherever they're at. I'm not a geographer.
Rivers,
but Rivers, yes. When that weather starts to hit and that rain starts to come in, that cold weather, that's when it's going to be important to have Le'Veon. Now, I know we've had some storms here in certain parts of the country, but if the weather's a nice, calm day, Big Ben's going to take huge advantage of that. So,
yeah.
but that's why I think I think the complete opposite of what you guys are thinking right now, because I'm thinking later on in the season, they already know he's not going to be there. They're already ready for that. Although they're ready for it now, I just think the bickering back and forth right now could cause some, especially it's early in the year. You don't know how anybody's going to come out. Good teams come out really, really flat in the
Patriots.
beginning. Bad teams look like they're going to be good week 1. Good teams look like they're going to be bad week 1. And I think this is one of those times where they're going to look bad. I do agree that later in the season they will need Le'Veon, but I just think right now, with just all the stuff that's going on, that can be a big distraction for a team that got, who really thought they had Super Bowl hopes, and probably now they're probably thinking that probably took a hit without Le'Veon, even though they say we don't need him and all this other stuff. That could really be a big difference maker in this game today. I don't think Cleveland is better than Pittsburgh by any stretch of the imagination. And I do agree, they probably are going to come out hot. They're going to have the momentum. They're going to be ready to play. But I just think Pittsburgh is just at that time now. They're at one of the lows right now. And this is prime opportunity for the Browns to, kind of capitalize on this right now.
And Billy,
the old saying.
Go ahead, Matthew.
I was just going to say real quick, Billy, the old saying, like you said, week 1, the good teams look bad, the bad teams look good, but the Browns still look like the Browns. So,
wow. Well, I don't really want to add to that, but I got to. I would have to say this is the perfect time for this turmoil to hit the Steelers, because if this would have happened in week 11, 12, they'd be like, oh man, our season's over. But this is the beginning of the year. This is opening week. They're going to be on such a high that all this inner turmoil is just going to fuel the fire even that much more, I think, as far as the Steelers go. And I don't think it's really going to be close, to be honest. Like it might be a 12, 14 point game. But
Mike, you calling it a blowout?
No. I'm not calling it a blowout. But I'm saying the Steelers are just going to be more.
You think they're going to dominate?
Yeah, they're going to be more physical, more in your face, and that kind of thing. Like I'm calling a 12, 14 point game.
Okay, and I can see that too, though.
Now, see, I'm thinking the other way. I'm thinking Browns get up to like a 17-0 lead, going to halftime 17-7, 20-7. At the end of the third, maybe 23-17, and then end up losing, 31-29 or 31-26 or something.
I mean, all these scenarios are very possible. I mean, we are talking about my Browns here. So you guys get no. It's the real season now, so you guys will get no crazy arguments out of me, for sure. But, yeah, I mean, I can see this going either way. I'm just picking the Browns just because of what I think the team is suffering from and Le'Veon. That's really the only reason. Like I said, if Le'Veon was there and they were still fussing, I would probably pick the Pittsburgh. But him not being there, I think that could, I can do a little something.
This is such a rare day, and I would really like to move on from this topic because I'm not a Browns or a Steelers fan, but this is such a rare day. I'm going to enjoy it. Me and Mike are actually on an agreement, and we're kind of feeding off each other, usually something reserved for me and Billy. Mike has another great point. If you're going to have this happen, week 1 is this. Because even though there was rumors Le'Veon wasn't playing, it's not like an injury. You couldn't be for sure. And it's not like this is week 6 where he set out 5 weeks, so he's going to sit out the 6th week. This is week 1. So Cleveland still had to prepare for if Le'Veon was going to play because there was a chance, small, that he could play.
Yep.
So now, like I said, if he had been injured or if this had been 5 weeks of him sitting out, you could start focusing on doubling the receivers, doubling Brown, putting a shadow over Juju, not worrying so much about James Conner. But you couldn't do that if you're Cleveland because there was that slight, even like I said, just so slight chance Le'Veon could play. So you've had to practice as if Le'Veon's going to play. So like a mid-game injury where like a star player goes down mid-game, but it doesn't really have that much of an impact because I don't know how quick Cleveland can adjust to say, okay, we no longer have to focus on – because if you make too much of an overcorrection and say, okay, now that Le'Veon's out, we're just going to double Brown, that's how James Conner has a good game because you haven't prepped for that. So that's why I think if it's going to happen, like Mike said, if all that comes in, if you're going to have a player injured, sitting out, upset, pouting, resting, whatever you want to call it, there's 2 times to do it. Week 1, week 2, week 16, week 17. I think it helps them in their favor.
All righty, guys. So moving on to the next game. Speaking of underperforming Week 1 teams, we have New England Patriots versus the Houston Texans. Matthew, since this is your guys, this is your Pats this year. We'll start with you. Who do you got?
So my heart says, the Patriots all the time.
Always.
Because, Tom Brady played a little more this preseason. He looked like he played very solid this preseason. Looks like he might come out in raw form. But then there's the head that is the knowledge. And then I know how history's gone. And we don't perform well in the first 2 to 4 weeks of the season. Tom Brady might be in tip-top shape, but what about the line? What about the run game? We're out Edelman. Who's he throwing to? That defense, which is pretty much made up of just rejects and parts found at the scrapyard, doesn't really fit Bill's system till about week 6. Now, the only thing I will say is Houston, Fuller's out. Well, how's Deshaun Watson playing? I know he had a leg injury, but there's always that shyness when you come back.
Right.
How's Watt doing? Tyrann Mathieu in a new system. They're still clowny. If there was one weak point of the Texans, it would be the corners. Brady could pick on the corners. I think this is going to be – I'm still going Patriots just because I don't think Tom has ever lost to the Texans, which anything could change. I mean, Kentucky last night we lost 31 straight, so anything can happen. But I think Tom's going to pull it out, but I think it's going to be a very uneasy game. It's going to be 34-31. At no point are you going to say the Patriots have this one wrapped up. I don't think any team's going to jump out ahead. I think it's going to be like a good boxing match. It's going to go right back and forth, boom, boom, blow for blow. But I think the experience, Tom Brady's going to pull this one off. But I'm not sold on, like I said, the first month of the season, not always sold on the Patriots really doing anything. If the Texans hadn't faced injuries with J.J. Watt, Fuller, and Watson, I would say watch out New England. It could get ugly. If that offense was really clicking like it showed signs of last year, it could be a 40-28 game, especially early on. But I think the Texans have as much questions as the Patriots do for them in context to how their season goes.
First off, before we get to that, I do think the Patriots will win this game. Matthew is kind of like me, when it comes to some of his teams. And I do this a lot with Florida State where we kind of undersell who we are, so we don't kind of come off as too boastful or we don't, some of my hopes don't get up. I think that's what you're doing right now because I honestly don't think this game will be close. For a lot of those reasons that you did name. We don't know if J.J. Watt is going to be healthy. We don't know how Deshaun Watson is going to come off that injury. You already said that their weakest position on the defense is the cornerbacks. Just last week I heard that they were just trying out like 4 or 5 defensive backs. That's never a good recipe when you're finna start the season. When you're still trying out people. I just don't. I like Lamar Miller. He's going to handle the ball. He's going to run it like he always does. Probably close to 100 yards. But I like the Patriots here, man. This is Tom Brady we're talking about. This is Bill Belichick we're talking about at home. in Foxborough. I just don't see how the Texans is going on the road and going to make this and make this game look any good. Honestly, I just don't see how. I got the Patriots winning big.
So how do you guys like especially how Matthew started out? I really thought he was going to go the other way, like with
Yeah,
that
me
pick,
too.
saying how bad Patriots are week 1, week 2, etc. And I mean, this game reminds me of that Kansas City game. What was it, last year or 2 years ago? I can't remember for sure. When the Kansas City Chiefs just came out and walloped the Patriots, like it was just a bad game, and I really feel like this is going to be that another week 1 slump where the Patriots just come out flat. They're not like I don't want to say
Mike,
they are not ready to play. It's just they're not physically ready to play or something like that. So like I think Houston is just going to come out and surprise them and be hyped with Watts back and Clowney, like the whole crew's back.
Well, like I said, if the injuries had never happened, I'm right there with you. If the offense the Texans showed last year came in and never got hurt last year, and the defense never got hurt, and it was just a really solid season, and They were building on it, I would say yes, 42-28, something like that, 42-21, something crazy. But you referred last year as the Chiefs because that's what the Chiefs were. The Chiefs were a building team, an improving team, had a solid squad, and then when they came in, they had already had a well-established. Alex Smith knew who he was. There was no question.
Right.
Deshaun Watson's coming off a knee injury. How confident is he that he can get back to his scrambling ways? His strength has never been sitting in the pocket, dinking and dunking. It's running around, making plays, and catching you off-field deep. Can he still do that coming off a knee injury? Quarterbacks typically don't really do so, especially early. You look at your receivers. You had Tyreek Hill. Now, they still do have Hopkins, but they're missing Fuller. So, and since they don't really have a tight end like you guys have Kelsey, so Fuller's kind of like that second option. And then out of nowhere, you guys had Kareem Hunt just really come in and make a play. I don't really see all that coming in line for the Texans. But with you being said, I do think that the way the NFL sets up, the way Bill's kind of always, I imagine he's like a person when they're going on a trip, still packing to the moment they walk out the door. I imagine he's still frantically putting together a game plan all the way up until kickoff. So I think there is something to be said, like you said, that they're not ready always physically week 1, especially on defense. That's why I think the game is going to be close.
Well,
I just don't think.
Let me throw a curveball at it, like just like at you. Do you think kind of Bill maybe throws kind of week 1, so like there isn't this 16-0 talk, 19-0 talk, so they kind of just start out 0-1, all that talk is out the window, and then they just start to roll. I mean, I hate to say that, but it kind of seems like that. Like they like Bill kind of lets the players do them that first week. And then, like, he's like, hey, now let me show you my way, and they win.
Yeah, I do think there is something to be said. Maybe not as much as that. No, maybe not physically trying to throw a game or letting the players learn a lesson.
I mean, that is definitely a reach. But, yeah.
I think the first week he's more like, let me see what I got. And then I'm sure, Bill Belichick's a football genius. I doubt he does, even in off season, he's probably working on plays and ideas. So the first couple of weeks, I could easily see him saying, I want to do A and I want to do B. I don't know which one's going to work, so I'm going to try them both. And then by week 5, you're like, okay, A definitely did not work. That's gone. B worked, but it worked better if we did this, and now he's ready to roll. And, it becomes, you talked about it being a reach, Mike. It becomes, or on some of those things, it becomes even less of a reach after for pure stubborn and spite alone, he cost himself a game, and not week 1. A Super Bowl by trying to prove a point and having one of your best corners sitting on the bench the entire game. So when it comes to teaching lessons and proving a point, there's nothing you could say. After I seen that, there's nothing you could say that would be, I'd be like, Mike, that's crazy. Bill would never do that. Yeah. He might do it off. He might do it everything. He might throw the first 6 games of the season so it forces his team to go on a 10-0 run just to make the playoffs. I mean, that's crazy, but with Bill, after you're in a Super Bowl, you have a quarterback who's one of your best, who saved you against the Seattle Seahawks, and you just see him over there reserving him for a little bit of special teams. When not, and it wasn't even like the game didn't need him. Nick Foles was chewing them up. They could have used that. So there's nothing that you could tell me that Bill might think, and I'll be like, that's a third. He'd never do that because who knows with Bill.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think I'm like Bill Belichick. I'll jeopardize some just to prove a point. That's definitely me. So yeah, I think nothing is out of question when you're thinking Bill Belichick. I just don't think this one's going to be close. And I hate the Patriots, so don't let me keep praising them, Mike.
All right, so moving on with the eventual Super Bowl champions here, Kansas City Chiefs versus Chargers. Who do you guys got? Billy, we'll start with you on this one.
Oh, my God. This is probably, honestly, the hardest game to me that we had to pick. I kind of knew where I was going to go with all the rest of the games. But this one, being that the Chargers is at home, I'm going to take the Chargers in this. I like Phillip Rivers. I like that defense. That defense is looking really, really nasty. And, KC, this is Patrick Mahomes' first game. They got a new receiver in Sammy Watkins that they really haven't integrated that much in the preseason. It is preseason, but, I think he only had like 4 catches or something like that, 5 catches in the preseason. Really wasn't all that great. You guys still do have Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Kareem Hunt. I'm looking for that defense to still be good. But I just think on the road, first week of the season, you really don't know what to expect. I'm going to go Chargers with this one. I like Melvin Gordon and Ingram and all these other guys. So I think I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one. I think this one is really going to be close, though. I don't think this one is going to be a blowout. But I got the Chargers winning a close one.
All right, Matthew Lyle.
Look, I don't care what year it is. I'm not looking at a calendar. I'm not looking at a roster. I'm not looking at anything. You tell me the Chargers and Phillip Rivers are going to be involved. With 2-minute warning hit, Phillip Rivers is going to need a score. That's all I can tell you. That's the Phillip Rivers way. But Billy made a lot of points. Good points there. The Patrick Mahomes starting, got some new weapons. How's he going to fit in? I got the Chargers winning just because I think when it comes down to quarterback play, Phillip Rivers is substantially better as of right now. And I basically see the Chargers having a really strong game. But like I said, for some reason, it's going to be 28-26 with 3.5 minutes to go. Phillip Rivers either needs to expand the lead or come back, and the Chargers are going to win. Like I said, I don't know how it's going to happen, but the math and the history is just there that 9 times out of 10, Phillip Rivers is going to need to go on a drive in the final 2 minutes.
All right.
I think on every way that this game, the Chargers are going to be better than the Chiefs. I do hope that Hill and Kelce has a good game for my fantasy point. I just think Patrick Mahomes will have multiple interceptions.
Well,
It's going to hurt him.
let me kind of build on that, Matthew. Like, I am a huge Kansas City fan, as most people know, but my heart, or like my heart's telling me obviously to pick Kansas City, but my brain's saying go Chargers because of all the points that you just said. This is Patrick Mahomes' first game as a professional athlete, or starting, week 1 as a professional athlete, like he did, play a few scrap games last year. But like with that being said, like I anticipate them just handing the ball to Hunt and getting him 25 to 30 carries this game, and trying to eliminate that passing game woes that they might have. But my brain's telling me to go Chargers, even though historically Kansas City has beaten San Diego in San Diego a lot of the time. But I'm going Chargers on this one, unfortunately.
I'm proud of you, Mike. I'm really proud of you. But just to piggyback what Matthew was saying, Phillip Rivers will find himself in a dogfight anytime that he's not supposed to be in a dogfight. Right. And the games that you're thinking, well, man, you know what? They should have this one in the bag. Here comes Phillip Rivers trying to lead a late game heroic. I kind of think of it as how my Seminoles was last night. Well, we had three interceptions, 4 turnovers total, but we were still losing in the game somehow, And that's how it is with Phillip Rivers. everybody will be playing good. The defense will be good. And then somehow they'll still be losing. And then they still need something late game. I've even mentioned Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is back. He looks really good. Back in 2014, 13, he was probably one of the we was probably talking about him as one of the top 5, at least top 7 receivers in the NFL. I think he kind of can return that form. They have a decent running game now. So the Chargers want to win this game. Chiefs. If they were playing at home, I probably would have given them the points because maybe
100%.
Patrick Mahomes' his nerves will be calm. He won't have to deal with the crowd noise whenever he make a mistake. But I just think first game starting on the road against that defense, especially the Chargers defense, is going to be nasty. They're going to get after him. I just think it's going to be too much for him to handle. And like you said, Mike, they're going to give Kareem Hunt the carries. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. And I guarantee you the Chargers are already preparing for that, being that they have your first-time starter, their quarterback. They're going to be prepared for that, and they're going to try to make him beat them in the air. So if they're going to win, it's going to be because Patrick Mahomes actually didn't look like a first-time starter.
All righty, guys. So moving on to America's team. We got the Cowboys versus the Panthers. Matthew, who do you got on this one?
Where's it at?
I believe it's in Dallas.
It's in Carolina.
Okay.
Carolina.
Yeah, there you go.
Carolina.
So,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, I can picture in my head this is gonna be that stupid Fox game of the week and that little
America's game of the week, son.
Transformer, whatever, that little Transformer on there dancing around, and probably have Troy Aikman and Joe Buck in the booth.
Hey, you just better be glad you're not. You just better be glad you're not from Texas, because every time the Cowboys play, I see it because I'm over here in Texas. It doesn't matter who they playing. Cowboys is on TV.
Panthers are going to win this one. I think Cam's going to have a decent start to the season. Some of my gut tells me he's going to face some injuries this year. I have nothing to back that up, just a good old gut feeling, so it's probably going to be way wrong. I think, like we talked on the podcast, Billy, you take away Kelvin Benjamin, the offense gets better by subtraction. I think McCaffrey's going to – you want to talk about sophomore running back who's going to come out and make some splash. I think – so as much as I hate to say this too, I'm going to go back and it's going to circle around with the last game. The quote-unquote surprise running backs, rookies last year, I think are going to kind of hit a sophomore slump. Your Kareem Hunt and your Alvin Kamara. Your star top 10, as long as they stay healthy, the Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey, I think they're going to take a huge step. I think McCaffrey is going to have a great year, not just as a running back, but as special teams and catching the ball. I got questions about Dallas defense. I got questions about Dak Prescott. Who's his true go-to receiver? I know they had some, and I know they play better without him having a go-to receiver, but when you're young, you got to have that thing to rely on. Jason Witten's gone. Cole Beasley could be it, but he could be he could be losing a step. He didn't have a lot of the great steps there to begin with. If he's losing it, what's that say? How's this O-line holding up? I know they have the quote-unquote the best O-line in the league, but O-line's a very injury-prone position. They start getting older. They start taking some whams and some hits. And Zeke's back. I mean, I have no questions about Zeke. I think he's going to have a solid year, but I just have questions everywhere else. Carolina seems like they are going to win the games they should this year, so I got Carolina winning.
All right, Billy, go ahead.
I'm right there with you. I probably hate the Cowboys more than any team in the NFL, but I think just given the circumstances, I think this is the year Cam Newton take another leap forward. Hopefully Greg Olsen can be back today. He's still listed as questionable. But I think, the strength of what Dallas is going to try to do is they're going to try to run the football to set up Dak Prescott. I think Carolina's defense is going to be ready for that. Those linebackers, Kuechly and Jones, and Davis, I think those guys aren't going to let that happen today. They're going to make Dak Prescott put the ball in the air, which I'm not so sure Dak Prescott can actually do consistently. You said it. His go-to bailout target, he's not there no more. He's retired. He's up in the booth. what other receiver are they going to have? They did let theirs go, so that's going to be the problem there. Travis Frederick is, he has his issues with the thing that he's dealing with, the disease that he's dealing with. So he's not going to be there. So now you have to insert another offensive lineman. I just think it's too much going on. They on the road. I think Panthers get the win.
Well, let me tell you guys, I'm going to probably wake my son up laying on my chest here. So if you guys hear some snoring or some crying, I apologize. But how about them Cowboys? Dallas Cowboys are winning today's game, son. They're winning it. They have Zeke back. They have Dak he's going to perform awesome today. Sean Lee is finally healthy for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
Or is he?
No, he is finally healthy. He's finally healthy for about 2 weeks. When Sean Lee is in the Cowboys lineup, the Cowboys are a Super Bowl contending team. But when he is not, they are a Cleveland Browns last year team. But since Sean Lee is in the game today, the Cowboys are going to pound the Panthers. They are going to make them wish they never even came to wherever they're playing today, and they'll be like, hey, it's time to pack it up after the second quarter. It's going to be a blowout. Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys.
Mike, you don't believe that, do you? Please tell me you honestly don't believe that.
I honestly believe when Sean Lee is on the field, the Dallas Cowboys are a 100% different team. Sean Lee is on the field.
Now you sound like Skip Bayless.
Sean Lee is on the field today. Dallas Cowboys are going to be a totally different team, and they're going to come out firing. Zeke is going to run like a man possessed. He is mad about last year, 100%. He is mad about last year. Give that man the rock. Let him pound it 30, 40, 50 times a game. I don't care. They won't be able to stop that man today at all.
I agree with one thing you said there, Mike, that Zeke is going to pound the ball. That's the only thing that I actually believe of what you said. They're going to get Zeke to carry. Pound. I don't know about. They're going to kill the. I just don't see that happening. I don't see the Cowboys winning this game.
Well, when you guys are wrong tomorrow on Tuesday, I'll let you guys know it. But moving on, Sunday night game tonight, we got the Packers versus the Bears. Billy, who do you got on this one?
Oh, I got the Packers easy. I don't. Now, this is the one game I don't think it'd be close. The Bears did get a little bit better with Khalil Mack, as we talked about the other day. I think he helped bolster that defense up a lot. They're still missing a lot of cornerbacks on that team. That's still the weak part of that defense, and they're playing against Aaron Rodgers. That's never a good recipe when you don't have good corners and you're playing against Aaron Rodgers. He does have Randall Cobb. Devontae Adams is back. They added Jimmy Graham. I think that's going to be too much for the Bears. That's going to be too much for the Bears. The Bears is not ready yet. I'm not sold on Mitchell Trubisky at all. He's one of those quarterbacks that you look back and wonder, how did he even go in the first round? Right. I think he's one of those type quarterbacks. I don't think he's the guy that's going to lead them there, and especially playing against the Packers on the road. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I think the Bears lose this game, and I don't even think it's close. This one, I really don't think it's close.
Matthew, did we lose Matthew?
Oh, we lost him.
All right, it's all good. Well, Billy, I'm going to try to echo your pick a little bit here. Like, I'm definitely going to go Packers. Like I do feel the Bears are much improved with Mack on the defensive field, but their offense just doesn't have a identity like I feel with their quarterback that they have. Like, are they going to be a running team? Or are they going to be a passing team? But in their defense, the Packers' defense hasn't been good for a couple years. So that is the only thing that might keep this game close. And it's a Sunday night game, so like the hype is going to be there for the Bears, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But Packers at home, you can't pick against them.
At home, I just don't see how you pick against them.
Yeah, I definitely got to echo that pick there. So moving on to the first Monday night game here, we got the Jets versus the Lions. How this game made a Monday night game, I don't know. But Billy, who do you got?
Yeah, this is rare here. At least Packer Bears would have probably been a better Monday night game. At least that they're rivals.
Yep.
But I just don't understand how. But anyways, I got the Lions on this one. I think Max Stafford and the boys are going to come out far. And Steelers, Golden Tate, that defense. I think Sam Darnold is probably going to be the reason why the Jets lose this game. I just don't think he's ready yet. I think maybe he could be good by the end of the season. I just think right now, as we talked about the other day on the show, I just don't think right now he was primed to start. Teddy Bridgewater, to me, would have been a better go here. But I think, especially on the road, I think the Jets lose this game. Detroit is also another one of those teams, though, that loses games that when they should win games that they should lose. It is week one. I mentioned earlier, bad teams always play good teams always play bad. But I think this should be an easy win for the Detroit Lions at home facing a rookie quarterback.
So this game is at New York, correct? Or
no, it's in Detroit.
Oh, it is in Detroit. Okay. Well, then this.
Yeah, it's in Detroit.
I definitely wrote that down wrong then. But I'm gonna have to echo what you said here. Since the Jets are not at home, Sam Darnold, the youngest starting quarterback ever in the NFL, Monday night game, on the road. It's going to get ugly quick. I mean, they should have kept Teddy. I mean, this would have been
for sure.
This would have been a much better game if Teddy was in there. But as much as I hate the Lions, just because my dad's the biggest Lions fan ever, and I always root against him, man, I got to go with the Lions on that one. As much as that hurts me to say that, but so moving on to the final game of Week 1, we got the Raiders and the Rams. This one is really intriguing to me, but I'll see what you got to say first, Billy, on this one.
Yeah, I think honestly this is probably going to be one of the closest games, honestly, out the whole weekend. Just because I think it's going to be emotional for John Gruden. I mean, it's not like he inherited a bad team.
Right.
He still has a really, really good team.
They are supposed to win.
With a really good quarterback. Exactly.
They're supposed to win.
Go ahead. Yeah, for sure. I mean, because they have the team to do it right now.
Right.
Like, they're only a couple years removed from Derek Carr getting hurt and them actually making a big playoff run.
Yeah, they would have probably won the Super Bowl that year. I really think that.
Yeah, they were clicking on all cylinders. I have no reason to believe why they shouldn't do that again. Especially, they added Jordy Nelson to accompany Amari Cooper.
Right.
I just think I picked the Rams to win that division. So I'm going to stick with the Rams. I think they get off to a hot start right here against the Raiders in a really, really close Monday night game at home. I think that home crowd is going to be – I think week one home crowd is going to matter so much. But I just thought about it. They're not playing at home. The Raiders are playing at home.
Right.
So this could potentially shake up some things. I just think, I believe in golf. I believe in Todd Gurley. They did get Brandon Cooks. They added him with Cooper Kupp. That defense is nasty. They added Aqib Talib. They added Ndamukong Suh in the offseason. They paid Aaron Donald, so he's going to be playing like a madman, happy because he got his money. I just think this is a game that the Rams need if they're going to leave off where start where they left off that last year. So I'm picking the Rams in a really, really tight one here.
Yeah, and you were speaking of all their offseason additions. They also pick up Marcus Peters from the Chiefs too, like another.
I forgot about him. That is true.
And another lockdown corner, which I'm really upset with the Chiefs right now. But that's a story for a different day. But I got to kind of echo of what you're saying. like with all those offseason like additions of all those big names. I mean, the Rams on paper are head and feet over the Oakland, or are they the Las Vegas?
They probably got the best roster on paper, honestly.
Oh yeah, but like, are the Raiders Oakland still, or are they Las Vegas yet? Like how they switched? I don't.
I think they're going to still be in Oakland this year. I believe maybe they transfer to Las Vegas. I'm not sure when their contract starts in Vegas. Maybe they have another season.
Gotcha. So the Oakland of Las Vegas Raiders here. I think this is their time to shine. Week 1, Monday night game, the late game. At this point, I mean, that crowd is going to be lit. Like, first of all, Oakland fans are like the nastiest fans I've seen. You know, they got those shoulder pads with the spikes on and the face paint, and
for sure.
like I've heard stories of them, you know, just like basically scaring opponents. You know, so I mean, like Monday night game, week 1, John Gruden's back in town. You know, that $100 million contract for him. Jordy Nelson, I expect him to have a big game. You know, 2-3 scores. Honestly, please, fantasy points wise. I just got to go with Oakland. I mean, it is as much as I dislike Oakland because I'm a Kansas City fan. I got to go with Oakland. Like I think they're going to be clicking on all cylinders. Like at this point, I think all the new additions to the Rams is going to take them a while to get in that groove. You know, week 3, week 4, watch out.
They have a lot of characters on that team.
Say that again.
They have a lot of different characters, a lot of different personalities on that team. You know, expressive personalities. You see, you know, how many penalties they'll get.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
that's also going to be something to watch for.
Yeah, but like think about this: when Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib, like with their personalities and like how nasty they are and how physical they are, once they start clicking on the same page, like watch out, the Rams defense is going to be nice, but
they're going to be nasty.
I don't see that happening week 1, and I'm going to have to go with the Oakland Raiders on this one, or the Las Vegas Raiders, whatever their name is right now. So
whoever they are,
whoever they are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I thought long and hard about picking the Raiders in this game. I want to believe in John Gruden. You know, I like Derek Carr. Amari Cooper was one of my favorite receivers coming out of college, even though he went to the University of Alabama.
Right.
But I like Jordy Nelson as well. You know,
and they did say he has a spring in his step again.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I did read that. I read a report saying that he seems to be, you know, him and Derek Carr didn't really work that well together in the preseason, but
it's preseason.
You know, that can be fixed. You know, yeah, exactly. You know, you don't get a lot of time together. You don't get to study film. You know, he don't really know who he is right now. But I wanted to pick the Raiders in this game. I just think, you know, with all of those all-season additions, regardless of whether they are on, you know, they're clicking, I just think the talent is there, and they have it, especially that defense. Man, they are loaded on defense. I didn't even mention LaMarcus Joyner, who's probably one of the most underrated safeties in all of the NFL.
Yeah, I forgot all about him.
You know, his recovery speed, him tracking the ball in the air is, you know, second to none. He's a ball hawk. Don't really get a lot of picks, but he's around the ball all the time.
Right.
That's big, especially for press guys like Peters and Talib, who sometimes could get beat because you got that. You can play a little bit more aggressive because you got that safety over the top helping. I think that's going to help Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald on the same defensive line. That's trouble, you know, for any struggling offensive line as the Oakland Raiders are. You know, they had some offensive line issues last year, switching guys in and out, moving guys around. I think that could hurt them in this game, and that's the reason why I went with the Rams.
And I just want to echo this, like, man, I agree with everything you say, and like in my gut is telling me to pick the Rams, but for some reason my head's saying Oakland at home Monday night, can't go wrong. But
Mike, you better pick with me, man. I had a better picking week this week. You know, I picked all games this week.
Right.
I was on fire this week. I think that's going to continue. Last week I was on a losing streak, and it carried all the way to the Thursday night game.
Well, I got to go with Oakland, man. I have it wrote down here. Oakland is my pick. But as always, Billy, thank you for joining me. Billy Hatton is from the Unpopular Opinion podcast. Billy, where can people find your podcast?
You can find them on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Radio Public, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher app. Anywhere you find your podcast that I'm there. I changed my days. I will be doing it 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, since we do the RTF Sports on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. That way I'm not giving you guys the same show over and over again, because normally we have the same news. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the Unpopular Opinion on Apple, Google Play, Spotify, anywhere you find your podcast. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys like, comment, and share.
Yeah,
that'd be greatly appreciated.
And make sure you guys leave a ranking on that, because I see that you guys are watching it, but leave a ranking so he can rank higher and he can just get this thing growing. 5 stars, and if not, let him know why so he can improve the show, because we're just normal guys doing a normal thing, just trying to improve, give you guys our perspective of the news. If you guys are watching RTF Sports Talk on the YouTube live page right now, I see quite a few of you are, and thanks for joining us. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll be back on Tuesday at 9:45 a.m. Thanks for joining us, guys. Have a nice day. Go Chiefs!
Mike,
If you came to prove, there's no reason to prove.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.